What is going on, guys? I wanted to just quickly give my little 2 cents about the teasers for the Ghost of the Shell live action movie that came out, I think, yesterday. I already saw the trailer, so I'm not going to be doing a live reaction to it, but I do kind of want to break down some of the teasers and tell you, what I think. I guess things to point out, just things like that. What I thought about the teasers in general. In general, what I thought about the 5 teasers, um, I actually really liked them. So fucking sue me. But no, because I've just seen like this is getting a ton of fucking hate already, and it's like, come on, guys, like you haven't even seen the movie yet. But honestly, to me personally, it's like everything is going good so far, I think. I'm not really going to be talking about the whole whitewashing controversy thing. I really honestly don't care about that. I just care about if the movie is good or not. Like, um, just because Motoko Kusanagi isn't being played by a Japanese actor, some people are already writing off this movie and saying it's gonna be bad just because of that. And like, I honestly could give a fuck less. Like, I just care about this movie being good, regardless if the major is being played by a white actress or a Japanese actress. Like, I just care about the best possible person to play this character, and if it's Scarlett Johansson or a Japanese woman or someone else, it doesn't really matter to me. And if you do want to get all technical with it, the major is a cyborg at the end of the day. She could change her body to many different other prosthetic shells. So does it really matter what, race she is? You know what I'm coming from? I said I wasn't gonna get into that shit, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, so the first shot I wanted to talk about really quickly. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as the teasers were, so I'm not gonna try to spend a lot of time on them. But really quick, first the Aramaki kind of teaser, him just, I guess, shooting someone and then kind of unloading the bullets or whatever. I really liked how he looked. They kind of got the hair down as best as they possibly could. Like, it looks good. He looks like Aramaki. Like, I didn't even know the actor playing him, but like I immediately could tell that was Aramaki. Like, I think that's a good thing too, because for me personally, I haven't read too much about the movie. Like, I only know who's playing, the major, and I only know this guy from Game of Thrones is playing Bato. So I only know those two characters, actors, and so I don't know anybody else's. But the fact that I was able to tell that, oh, that's Aramaki, I think is a good thing. Um, yeah, I mean, he looked pretty cold. The one thing that I will say was pretty interesting was that he was using a revolver, and so if you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, you know that the one person to use a revolver in the series is Togusa. It's the thing that he constantly gets made fun of in Section 9. Why are you using a revolver? Um, he's always constantly getting made fun of that. So I wonder, is that like a blunder on the script writers or whatever, like that they gave Aramaki the revolver, even though it's supposed to be Togusa's, or maybe Aramaki is the one who gives Togusa the revolver later, or it's really weird. Like, yeah, I don't know if they're taking some liberties or that's just one little detail that they left out. It's weird. Um, Obviously, we don't know, but I mean, it's those kind of things that I feel like worry me and some of the deeper fans. Like, are they gonna pay attention to those little details? Because those little details are important to us hardcore, Ghost in the Shell fans. Um, so I don't know. And at the same time, it could also be like Aramaki and Togusa could have a revolver in the movie. It's really not that big of a deal, but it's not. Let me reword this. As long as Togusa still has his revolver in the actual movie, then it's not that big of a deal if another character also has a revolver. But I just don't want them to, miss or just not have Togusa have his revolver, because that is pretty iconic since the first movie, Togusa has always had that revolver. So yeah, even though that is a small detail, it is pretty big at the same time. So I hope they don't, miss that. All right, and then the second shot I really quickly want to talk about is just a shot of her in her room, kind of sitting down. I guess you would say her bed, unplugging herself. You kind of see the city skyline. I mean, this is a pretty iconic shot, from the original movie. It's like one of the earliest shots in the movie of just seeing the major kind of waking up, kind of, clearing out her eyes a little bit, and she looks out the window. You get to see the city. Just kind of like the pitch dark room that she's in. I will never forget. I don't remember where I heard this from, but I will never forget this video that I watched was saying that the room that the major was sleeping in for the first movie, it feels like almost like a prison. You know what I mean? Like a containment of sleep. Like she just, after she's done with her whole Section 9 stuff, she just goes back into that prison, that so-called prison, and just goes to sleep, and that's all she uses it for. Because like if you go back and just look at the room, it's like pitch dark. You don't really see anything hanging on the walls. Like there's no personality in her room, like she doesn't personalize it at all or anything like that. So it really is just like a prison, I feel like, to her. Like she just uses it for sleep and that's it. I thought that was really interesting when I first heard that, because I never really thought about it like that. And I really like that I'm kind of getting the same vibe from that in this shot as well, because you're just seeing the wires, you're just seeing that huge window, and that's literally it. Like you could probably tell that she only uses, this room to sleep. Like she doesn't do anything else in it. As opposed to the warehouses that she had in Standalone Complex, she had this huge bed. It almost looked like she lived in a penthouse, you know what I mean? It was very personalized, and she constantly had people coming over for drinks and girls sleeping in her bed and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So, I definitely feel like this is capturing that same tone, the visual kind of style of the original movie, of just how her room looked, which I think is really good. Yeah, so I guess that shot as well gets a plus for me, I guess. All right, and then next, really quickly, I wanted to talk about the I think they're called the Guy Show, that kind of teaser that we got. Kind of the robot with like the red circle on his face, or the android. So it definitely kind of reminded me of the very first episode of Standalone Complex, the episode when Section 9 had to come in and kind of silently they used like their fuck, I know there's a specific name for it, but it was like fiber optic camouflage, I think it's called, something like that. But yeah, they all used that, kind of came in quietly to take out all the Guys show that were kind of like going crazy in their cyber brains, and they were kind of holding all those old people hostage, those old men hostage. And then, Section 9 came in and fucking blasted their heads off, and that like white cream kind of like splattered everywhere. Yeah, that was like the very first episode of Standalone Complex. So that kind of definitely reminded me of that. And it also, that teaser also reminded me of kind of the sex androids from the Innocence movie. I don't know. I guess maybe that's only me, but they kind of look a little bit similar to me. Obviously, they don't they don't look exactly the same, but I guess they just have that same creepiness that that the sex androids in Innocence had. To me, at least, it kind of gave me that same vibe and feeling. So yeah, I don't know. I'm probably the only one who feels that way and made that connection, but I don't know. That's probably just me. Um, yeah, and then the last shot, which is probably my favorite shot of the teasers that we got. My favorite teaser was just Scarlett just kind of walking in, pointing her gun, and then she just kind of walks into this huge like circle of people all connected into this one. I don't even know what you would call it, but just like huge circle of people just connected all into this one thing. Um, Kind of like maybe your mechanical tree of life, because it all looked like it was sprouting out, these wire branches all to these different people, because they all were connected to this one thing. Um, but I just really love that shot because it's like, to me, it kind of embodies, like the creepiness and like the weirdness, the darkness, kind of horror elements that Ghost in the Shell has always had. Ghost in the Shell is not a horror anime in any stretch of the means. Sometimes it can kind of have those vibes, but it's not predominantly horror. But it just kind of gave me that feeling of the unknown and like creepiness and like whoa, like what is this? You know what I mean? So I just think that shot really clicked with me. It really made me excited, that last teaser that I watched. Um, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, man. I actually really liked these teasers for sure. If you notice, I didn't really talk about the last one because I didn't feel like there was not a lot for me to pull from it, so I didn't really talk about it. But yeah, I actually really, I probably should keep my expectations, realistic. Um, but I'm actually really excited for this. Actually, really excited for this. Um, I feel like, people always bring up Dragon Ball Evolution, it's basically the joke of the anime community, but I feel like this is such, like, Hollywood has such an advantage with this because, Ghost in the Shell isn't as, fantastical as a Dragon Ball Z, or like why I feel like Naruto will never work in the live action format is because, you have jutsus and you have fucking chakra and all this shit and all this, like magical shit, you know what I mean? And like in Ghost in the Shell, it's fairly grounded, you don't have supernatural or like magic or anything like that. So I feel like that's an advantage working in its favor. I don't know. Um, I just, at the beginning, I was feeling like, why does Hollywood have to touch my all-time favorite anime? Like, why do they have to touch that? But just after seeing these shots, man, like, I'm actually excited to see my favorite anime in live action. Like, I probably shouldn't be. I should probably be scared to death, but fuck it, man. I'm kind of excited. I'm pretty hyped. Um, yeah, I'm really interested to see, also, has it been said if they're going to do, like, is this just going to be a retelling of the original movie, or are they going to be doing the Laughing Man case, or are they going to be doing the Individual 11, um, you know, or is it going to be its own original standalone, excuse the pun, but original kind of story? I think that would be very interesting. I think they should do their own original story. I think that would be best. I think you still have to have, those Motoko Kusanagi still, questioning her humanity and stuff like that. You still have to have those questions of, does the soul still exist when in a cybernetic shell? I think you still have to have those questions. Does the soul move over when the brain is moved over to a cybernetic shell? Does the soul transfer over? At what point do you cease to not be human, when you keep, augmenting your body with cybernetics and prosthetics and stuff like that? I think it's still important that they still tackle those questions and stuff like that. Um, but just have a new, just do your own story take on the universe. I think that's for sure possible for them to do. Because we've already seen the original movie, we've already seen the Laughing Man and Individual 11. Just leave those stories alone. I would like to see them do something new. But yeah, I mean, I'm I'm excited. I kind of am pretty excited. Um, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of people are really like hating on this, and I don't know. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm like I've said before. I'm really excited. I love this anime to death, man. I love just the ideas of identity and evolution, transcendence, and things like that. And I really hope that they tackle those ideas. I really hope they do. So just out of all the teasers I saw and the imagery, I think they're doing a pretty good job so far. So yeah, tell me what you guys thought.